Hey guys, this is the Smart Flippers podcast, and I have today Wyatt Graves. Wyatt Graves, I met about 15 years ago. I had
Long
started,
time. Yeah.
had started my journey in trying to do real estate, and he was my real estate broker. And I watched him over the years uh, have some ups and some downs, and things have really been going well lately, as far as I can tell. And what I'm interested in, and what I want to ask him today, is basically, how he's gotten to this point. What were some of the difficulties getting to this point, and most specifically, how does he run this thing from a beyond just the make money part of things? And that's really the part that really is something that I'm trying to navigate in my own business and create my core values and the way we structure our day-to-day interactions. So, Wyatt, welcome, man.
Good morning.
Shoot,
Glad
you as soon as I
to
said
be
that, you
here,
started breaking
man.
up.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. Hold on. We
Yeah,
started.
you had kind of froze when you were giving your intro. So,
Did
yeah,
I? Um,
but it could be mine. I'm looking at mine. Mine looks good.
yeah, mine does too. All right. So I was glitching. I was
Just
glitching
keep going or
during the.
start
I
over.
was I was glitching during the intro. All right. Well, maybe we'll do an outro or something like that, and then I'll just move it to the front. Um, okay. So you are currently a real estate investor. Are you still a real estate broker?
I do have my broker's license, and I am the broker of two different brokerages. One that we kind of white label for agents to create their own brand. It's called TGL Group. And then the branded brokerage is Kaizen Home Sales and Services. So the agents that are at Kaizen, they lean on the Kaizen brand. We generate leads for them and really use that brand for business purposes. At TGL Group, those agents kind of brand their own self, their own logos, their own teams, and things like that. So yeah, I'm still a broker of two brokerages, and we have about 35 to 40 agents between the two.
Gotcha. When I had started, you were. I can't remember. I can't even remember the name of it now.
Connect Real Estate Group,
Yeah,
baby. Connect
Connect
Real
Real
Estate
Estate.
Group. Yep.
So that was the origin right there. And I remember I had started there. I was enthusiastic, and what I didn't plan for is the amount of time it takes to get it off the ground. And that's something that I relive in my head. I've relived many times where I'm like, man, I was starting to get there. I was like starting to get leads, but it definitely took more time than I realized. Is that something that you tell agents now, like, hey, look, you got to have like good 6 months to a year runway, or it's okay to keep your job for a little while? How does that work for you?
Well, the reality is that everything takes longer than expected and it costs more money, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
no
More
plans ever
challenging.
go. That's right. No plans ever go according to plan. But you can, with that being said, it doesn't mean that you're going to go 6 months and starve. You can jump in and start generating income right away if you do the work.
Yeah,
But it usually takes a long time for people to change their mindset, change their programming, to actually get over their fears and jump in feet first, all in, and do the work. Right? People show up with hesitations and preconceived notions that they're bothering people, that they're harassing people, and that it's a burden whenever they call people to make sales calls. And that keeps them from hitting the numbers that are necessary for conversion that matters. Right? So it
yeah.
just depends. And yeah, part-time work, side hustle. You asked, you said, you wanted to talk about what we do here for our culture. It's really about what people want and asking people what they want and helping them figure out what they want. And for
Okay.
some, it means that they have to take a gradual start in the real estate sales side or even the investment side.
Mhm.
Use it as a side hustle and then grow it until you can make some changes to your full-time gig. So part-time is fine, full-time is fine. We take it all.
Okay. Are you still actively involved in the like the training side of things, and like here's you getting people up to speed as far as like this is your commission, and this is how we generate leads and keep in contact? Do you do a
From
lot
a
of that?
brokerage standpoint, I do not. We made a choice after the COVID rush fell to numbers that were hard to sustain for a lot of folks. We decided that we would not be a brokerage that took new agents and trained them as a brokerage. Now, I am a trainer, I'm a teacher, a mentor at heart. That's who I am through
Yeah.
and through.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of training, I do a lot of teaching and mentorship, but it's not through the brokerage per se. It's through the mentorship mastermind community where people are paying for the training, regardless if they sell houses or not. So we implemented a little program to where if you are an agent and you come to my office and you pay me to train you, then the money that you pay me to train you goes against the brokerage commission split on your deals. So basically, it puts the money where the mouth is of the agent. If you think you're going to produce, then you have no problem paying me for training. If you don't think that you're going to produce, then you're going to either waste money on me training you or not pay money and not get trained. So we do a lot of training, but that's how we kind of skin that cat here.
Yeah, they're like, if they don't do anything, it's fine. They paid for
It's
training.
fine. Yeah. They paid for training and they are better because of it. And look, a lot of our training has to do with finding clarity of purpose, right? You can't really be a good salesperson if you're not comfortable with who you are in your own skin. And so much of that is what we train on in the beginning of our training courses. And that skill, that development is applicable in all places of one's life, right? In their personal
Yeah.
relationships, doesn't matter what job you have. You take that learning and that education, that knowledge, and that self evolution into the world ahead. So it's you get what you pay for sure, whether you sell houses or not.
Yeah, because I imagine one of the biggest costs and frustrations for a broker is the fact that you train a bunch of knuckleheads like me that don't make it, and that you're just constantly dealing with churn. And it's like you're not like mad at them, but it's like there's a cost for you,
That's
uh,
right.
an energy
Well,
cost, a spiritual cost. You're like really you want to give them your best, so you're giving them your best because if they succeed, you succeed. And so seeing the fall off, which I'm assuming no matter who you are and how well you teach is going to be high because my experience is that people fail for many reasons, but one of the bigger reasons that doesn't get credit is that they shouldn't be doing that with their life. Like they were trying to do something that sounded cool or seemed like a good financial decision, but that was like not their purpose. And
yeah,
so
they really don't
God
want to
God
do
has a
it.
way of just being like, you know what, this ain't gonna work for you, and I'm gonna make sure of it. And through that suffering, I'm gonna figure, you're gonna figure out what lane you should be in.
That's right.
You experience that too as well.
Oh, for sure. Look, the brokerage model is not profitable. It doesn't matter if you're Keller Williams or Remax. Those guys, the typical brokerage is making less than $100,000 a year for profit after all expenses are paid. Now you might have different brokerages that are making a little different splits. There's a boutique brokerage in town. She's probably doing better than most. She's got a unique niche model. But for the Keller Williamses and the EXPs and things like that that are local, you have to have a ton of agents, and it usually will not come from one office, right, worth of agents to really be profitable. So that brokerage model is not something that I'm interested in. We have the brokerage, but our brokerage serves as a nucleus, almost as a hub. And kind of as a lost leader for the real crux of what we're doing, which is the real estate investing through building spec houses from ground up, buying distressed houses that need to be remodeled and putting them back on the market, and or building multifamily and houses that we can rent. That's the main real estate piece of my business right now.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so yeah, I was trying to figure out what's the model, but being in the game oftentimes is the model because you're in the game, you see what deals are available, you get deals before they come to the market, especially if you're investing, then you attract other investors that want to invest and they're like, how do I invest my money? And you get hard money that way. And then if you're bold enough or you feel like you can handle it, you get into the construction side of things. And so no matter what somebody needs real estate wise, you can handle it. And then now you're in sales training, which is profitable. I'm assuming that is working for you, right?
Education is a profitable business for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, I've spent a lot of money to scale my business. So the money that I've made, I've spent. So we're still trucking along, plugging away to really scale this thing to be something that's big and profitable for us. but the margins, whenever you do them right, um, can be well, they can be solid. I'm not a
Additionally,
one
kind of
man show
throttle,
though.
you can throttle your margins, right? You could say, well, we want to put 100% back in, or you can say we're going to put 80% back in and we're going to operate on 20% profit, right?
You can. That's kind of oversimplifying it in my mind, because where's that money going? And it really is oftentimes for me, it's went to staffing and to labor. And if that staffing and labor doesn't create systems and processes that are replicatable, duplicatable, that turn into revenue, then the margins really tank. It's not
Yeah.
just a matter of ad spend or lead generation as much as it is the people that it takes to deliver the service that you want to provide, at least from my perspective, right? I'm not a one man show.
Hmm.
I believe in the power of a who, and that's been my biggest challenge as a business owner is coordinating and project managing my vision through other people.
Mm.
Um, and so here we are. We're still on the journey, man.
The power of who, meaning like who's going to get it done, and then
Yeah,
the other
success through
people.
other people. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not about how, right? I could figure out the how, or I could just hire the who that already knows how.
Right. Right. And somewhere in the middle is hiring the who that you mentor and coach on how to get it done for you. And so that's your business as opposed to hiring an already contractor, and that's going to be the most expensive option, right?
That's right. So it's either proven talent or emerging talent. So proven talent comes with a higher price tag monetarily, but you save in time.
Hmm.
Emerging talent, you've got to spend time. I do it so they can watch, and then we do it so you can watch them, and then eventually they can do it. But that also takes up your time as well. And looking back on my career, I've spent a lot of time hiring people that required me to do it, and they didn't always work out. So I stayed in the seat doing those tasks for a lot longer than I should have.
Yeah. 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 As far as I knew when we were working together, you were, flying high, you were crushing it. What happened between 2009, around that time, to I believe we talked maybe 2018. And I remember, like, I don't want to, give away your business, but I remember like maybe things weren't going well at that time and you were having a like sort of a rebirth of sorts. Uh,
Yeah. I've went through a couple different rebirths, and I'm
yeah, it's like
probably
big.
not finished. I'm probably not finished. The biggest thing that happened is I was scaling my childcare business, which I've been in for a long time.
Okay, yeah,
And so I was scaling that, and I acquired a lot of debt for the childcare businesses. And when the recession hit in 08, 09 of the mortgage meltdown, I tried to sustain that as much as I could, but people weren't. I mean, people lost their jobs, and when they lost their jobs and they were losing their houses, they didn't need childcare. And so my childcare businesses were draining me big time, and I had been financing them with my real estate income. So when the real estate income dried up, I couldn't sustain the startup businesses of the childcare world. And then the childcare business wasn't self-sustaining because people didn't need that service at the time.
right.
So it was a perfect storm. And so we went broke, and had to restructure a lot of things. I sold some daycares off, didn't lose any, but I didn't make money either.
Mhm.
Had to re-engineer all the thing, put in 18, 20-hour work days, 6 7 days a week. It was tough, but we worked, we grinded, and we came out on the other side
Yeah,
a lot smarter, a lot more wise. But that was the biggest deal, is being over leveraged in the middle of a recession.
yeah. Looking back, I guess I didn't think about that. Like, I think I got my license with you in 2009. I mean, that was kind of in the thick of it, huh?
Yep.
I remember y'all were building a new construction, sort of like more affordable type housing. And yeah, you had what, four childcare centers, maybe?
We had seven.
Seven. Wow. And so
Yeah,
you're
we
out of
had
that
seven.
business altogether now?
I have one. So the seventh school I built in 2013 in the city of Central, and I was not. I didn't have kids in school at the time, and we lived in, I don't know, Denham or Walker, and so we built one in Central, and it was a dream kind of scenario. Like it was the biggest, baddest childcare center in town, a dream scenario, dream community. And so I still have that one. All the other ones I've sold, which I ended up selling the rest of them in the great flood of 2016. So maybe when I saw you in 2018, I was figuring out how to crawl back, not from going broke in 2010 and 12 and that little 2 year period of time, but from the great flood of 2016. We flooded, all of our new construction houses flooded, all of our subdivisions flooded, our house flooded, the daycares were shut down. And so I had to liquidate the rest of my schools except for the one in Central to help overcome the losses from the flood in 2016. So that happened at the same time I took a job because all of my real estate dried up. It flooded. It didn't dry up, it flooded. So we couldn't have any sales. We didn't have any commission.
Yeah.
I took a job working for a dental assisting school, and I did that for 10 months. And I think if I get the dates right, it was around 2017, maybe around July to October. I realized, you know what? I'm born to be an entrepreneur, a teacher, a mentor, an educator. I'm going to go back to uh, the work that I love, which is to sell real estate and to teach other people
Yeah.
about themselves, personal growth and development. And so in 2018, I took that launch and I opened Kaizen. And here we are, 2024.
Dude, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was around that time. I remember the house I was in, we were in San Diego and we talked and yeah, just remember just it's well, back up. It's cool like that most people or they just speak whatever's happening, like you're just being honest with me about like, kind of like I don't know. I don't know what's I don't know what the hell I'm about to do. But then after that, it was like yeah, like you said, you took off after that. And I remember like getting a sort of a concerned vibe when we had talked, but um that's crazy. So you had to take a job, you worked there for 10 months. I mean, that must have been a long 10 months, huh?
No, I actually had a lot of fun doing that job. It was a great job, worked with great people. I was able to be creative. I was planting dental assisting schools inside of dental offices.
Oh, okay.
And it was a startup company that I was working for. And so I got to travel and meet with doctors. And so it was fun to have doctors as clients, especially doctors that didn't know personal growth and development and didn't know business management. They knew medical terms, they knew dental terms. And so I got to sort of be a business consultant for them and a staffing coach for them in that capacity. And it was a high growth company. And so we went, I think, from maybe I haven't quoted these numbers in a long time. They might have had 11 sites. Man, I don't even know now. I haven't quoted that number in a long time. I added maybe 15 sites in the 10 months that I was there from Arkansas to South Carolina and really helped double their company in size of locations. That company has now gone on to be super successful since my departure there. And I'm still a big fan of them, for them, support them, cheer them on.
Yeah.
But it was fun. And I really didn't have that epiphany until that summer of 2017 when I met Jeff Woods. And Jeff Woods at the time he was recently hired to be the vice president of The One Thing, working with Gary Keller, the founder of Keller
Yeah.
Williams.
Yeah.
And he had started the Mint Tea podcast prior to that stint at The One Thing, which I discovered the Mint Tea and his podcast, The Inner Circle, where he was documenting his journey from employee to entrepreneur. And he was basing all of his moves on the Jim Rohn quote that you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So his hack was figure out what you want to do and then find other people that are already doing it. And by default, you'll get what you want. And so it was through that discovery and that relationship with Jeff that I figured out that I needed to make a change and that I needed to go back out on my own and really explore. And entrepreneur prompted me to make that move.
Sorry you broke up for a second, but I think I gathered what you were saying. That yeah, you had a wake up moment based on that concept. A lot of people they use that concept sort of from like the scare you into not hanging out with the wrong people. But there's not a lot of people that like sort of aggressively pursue it from the other angle, which is like I need to really get and latch on to some people that, yeah, are a level or two above where I'm at, and figure out how to add value in their lives and get in their circle.
I would say go find people that are 10 levels ahead of you,
Sure, sure.
right? Like, let's 10x this thing. Let's go find people that are aware I
Hmm.
want to be in 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And that's the hack. That's the supercharge for progress and personal growth and development and business success, physical health, whatever it is, right? You want to be a better husband, wife, brother, sister, spouse, partner, business owner, salesperson, physical trainer,
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? Go find somebody that's killing it at the level that you want to kill it. And then you'll get what you want.
I totally missed that message in my 20s. It wasn't until I was almost 30 and I had a kid on the way and I was in San Diego with no money that I met a mentor from California who was doing really well, and that it instantly changed my life. And I've been, I haven't had a job in 11 years. I don't know. It's maybe not just him, but he definitely was instrumental. And I'd totally just blown past that little self-development point where I needed either mentors or I needed, people that are doing well in my life. And being in San Diego is like as bad as people talk about California, you will get around some big timers, and they're everywhere. They're at the coffee shop, they're at the gas station, they're just dripping in them. And that's not something that's, quite as dense in our area. And anyway, I could have met people, I just didn't.
Sure.
All right, so you quit that job and you started the sales company. You were already a coach before then, but you weren't charging necessarily because you were just coaching people that were working for your agency, right?
Yeah, the idea that I had was that I would coach and teach people in order to deliver value. And as a result of delivering value to them, they would use me and refer me to do the real estate deals. So it was sort of
Right.
my value proposition as a realtor and as a broker that I would coach and teach. And as a result, get the transaction.
Hmm. Did that work out? Was that a good
No,
strategy?
no,
No,
no. Man, people don't work. People don't sell. That's really not true. It's just a different level,
generally
right? So
true.
it's constant recruitment,
Hmm.
which everything is, right? I've recently discovered a quote that I'm remarried to, which is a commitment to success through others, is a commitment to constantly attracting and recruiting great talent,
Hmm.
which is true, you know. Um, but I should have went all in on one way or the other. I should have went all in as being a broker, or all in as being an agent, or all in as being a coach, instead of marrying the three. Things would have been different along the way, but I also wouldn't be where I'm at today, which for
Yeah.
that I'm grateful for. Um, but I do have a big vision. It has a lot of irons in the fire as part of the vision. And anytime you have a wide focus, it requires a different approach than staying an inch wide and a mile deep. And
Yeah.
that means that you've got to hire the right people and put them in the right seats to do the right things the right way. And I've had to learn that the hard way, the long way. But that's what I've learned. And so making those adjustments is what's accelerating our growth right now and has helped with a lot of the wins that we've had over the last 2 years or 5 years, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it seems like it's been a good run.
Yeah.
What's your one thing now though? I know you're doing real estate investing and you're doing coaching. So what would you
Well,
say
I'm
is
doing
like
that. Well,
one biggest cornerstone? Sorry.
that's a good question. The thing is, I am in the personal growth and development space, and I am in the real estate investment space, and I'm a super connector, and I'm a transformational leader. And I do all those things. And so we do have this vision of creating a community where people can come to us and not only get a roof over their head, but find the content and the environment that helps them progress towards their personal goals in their home, life, and at work while they're renting from us. And the same thing goes for the people that come into our ecosystem who want to be more, do more, have more. And as a result, they're going to need a place to live. and it probably should be affordable and in order for them to live the life they want, right? Which is what we call the good life. So we are a provider of affordable housing. We are a super connector. We have vendors. We have other services that we provide that we can help connect them with that serve as leverage for them so that they can go deeper in the areas that matter most to them and leverage the other things to us, whether that's affordable insurance, whether that's a job, right? We're super connected to other employers and people that need employees. So we find out somebody needs a job, we put them into our database, we send out emails and text, and we get them connected and find people jobs. Um, we are a community that is interested in helping people live the good life. And that's what I'm doing. I'm helping people live the good life. And in that space, it comes with a variety of things, primarily affordable housing, whether it's buying, selling, investing, renting, and everything personal growth and development, and then connections to the ancillary services around home services.
Okay. Okay. I didn't see that coming. All right. So you're helping them in a lot of different ways, more than just sales training, right? You're putting these people in affordable houses. How has that been affected the affordable housing aspect over the last like 4 years? Has that gotten tricky, or have you had been able to have some creative solutions there?
Well, we are most proud of a creative solution that we launched earlier this year in January. It became live for January, February. We launched it. It's sort of like a boutique hotel. If you think about a boutique bed and breakfast hotel, it's an 11 bedroom, 12 bathroom house. It's about 6,500 square feet, and it's in Walker, and it's actually next door to a Walmart and a shadow center that Walmart has in its parking lot. And what we have is we have two living rooms. We have a huge kitchen that's got two kitchen stations. So it's got two ranges, two microwaves, commercial refrigerator, commercial freezer, two sinks, two dishwashers. Um, and we're renting out those bedrooms and bathrooms like you would rent out at a hotel. So that they get a private bedroom or private suite, which has a bedroom and a bathroom, and then the living room and the kitchen are shared common areas for the housemates inside the house. And this is $1 million house.
Yeah, that's
It's
cool.
top class, super luxury. It's beautiful. It's fine. It's got a whole house generator, got a pond in the backyard, rocking chairs on the back porch that have the fountains, a walking trail that goes straight to a walking path that goes straight to the garden department at Walmart and the nail place and the walk-in clinic and the church across the street and all the restaurants. Anyway, we're renting out those rooms for $800 a month. And that's all inclusive. That covers your electricity, your water, garbage, pest control, bi-weekly maid service, YouTube TV subscription, and internet. The only thing that you have to pay for is food. And because it's the community style of living, those housemates are cooking for each other. So you'll they'll cook a pot of
Absolutely.
spaghetti
Yeah,
and all pitch in. So it's even more affordable for the eating, right? If you go in with the housemates that are coordinating the food,
right.
and they're finding community and connection and engagement outside of work, which is what people need in this country for their mental health and wellness
Mhm.
and a sense of purpose and belonging and comradeship and things of that nature. So we're full there. We got one opening that is available now. But the guests there are housemates are anywhere from 21-year-old single white female to 77-year-old who was living in the country and needed engagement. We've got men that are recently divorced, women that are widowed. Um, we've got a Filipino, two black women, several other women that are there of all ages. It's just a melting pot, and it's the most beautiful thing ever, right? Like they all serve each other. They hang out on the weekends outside of the house together, and they all came together as strangers. The 21-year-old is getting mentored by the 77-year-old and the 55-year-old, and the 77-year-old is staying active because the 21-year-old is, asking her to be active with her. So everybody is like harmonizing in that home.
Yeah, yeah.
And they have discretionary income now, right? The average one bedroom apartment for rent is $1,100 a month in Walker.
Right. And that just
And
gets you
that's
through.
without electricity. That's without utilities, right? That's without internet. And so we're able to save 500 to 600 bucks a month for these people. And that goes a long way for the quality of life that they're living.
That is cool. That is cool. That's the kind of concept that I don't know, many people talk about, like co-housing. I've thought about co-housing, and I remember when I had cancer, they had the Ronald McDonald House, and we shared a kitchen, and that's some of the best memories of my entire life was cooking together with these families and getting to know them. And we are, as a society, extremely isolated. We're all self-sufficient. We never run into our friends, and so like making and keeping friendships is damn near impossible. I mean, that's all to me. That just solves like so many of our current life problems all in one.
It
Because even if
does.
you live in an
It does.
apartment, you still don't know those people. You know, we lived in a little box in San Diego when we first lived there, and I we lived there 9 months, and I never met a neighbor, not one time.
Wow. Yeah, look, dude, it's, in my mind, when people ask me about it, I tell them that we're having church. Like, this is church. What we're doing there is church. People are helping each other, loving each other, supporting each other. Everybody's open-minded. It's been great. Now, look, there's a great vetting process on the front side that we take on as the management company of those houses or that house.
It's like a
With
matchmaking service, right?
It kind of is, yeah. And so the name of the company that we're launching this under is Vibe Living. And so the idea is that we'll have different houses throughout our area. And houses are going to take on different personalities. And if you don't like the housemates for whatever reason, then we can offer a free transfer to another home. And you can go tour that home, hang out with those housemates, see if you get along with everybody, and then transfer and move in, right? For free the
Super
first
cool.
time.
Right.
We're taking criminal background checks and reference checks and things like that, touring the house before we make any decisions. They usually meet everybody, and it's been really fun. It's been awesome. So love that idea, and it's working. And of course, look, that leads over to the other multifamily that we have as well. When people call and they want multifamily, but the multifamily is $1,600 a month, and they can't afford that.
Hmm.
Well, I've got options for them. And the same thing goes true for the people that are starting in co-living, right? Not only do we talk to them when we're placing them in the house and processing their application, but we're asking them, hey, what does life look like for you in 3 years from now? Are you still going to have the same job? Do you have aspirations to get a new job, a higher level of education,
Right.
sharpening your skill set? Where do you want to be in 3 years from now? How can we help you do that? Now we're asking those questions as the landlord,
Hmm.
right? But that's because that's our culture. That's my mission, is to help people live the good life. And it's way more than just putting a roof over their head, right? And then as we ask them what those questions are, I teach workshops, I teach classes, and we have the mentorship mastermind community. And so we're inviting them into those conversations so that people can grow into them, right? Because you do become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So we're putting these concepts, these ideas, these nuggets, and these mentors inside of their environment, whether it's posters in the apartment complexes, emails, text, whatever, so that we can help them goal set and then achieve and create a path of advancement from where they are when they start with us.
Yeah, they say it's it's expensive to be broke, and when the costs keep rising, like most people, they're creative enough to stay exactly broke, but they're not creative enough to figure out like a way out of it. Um, and lowering their cost of living by, 500 to 1,000 a month, certainly would be a good start. Do you so tell okay, so do you need investors for this? Like, do you already have all that lined up? How do you work with investors in that manner?
We've done all this on our own thus far. I did take on an investor for the big 72 unit development that we created. I've got another 42 lots, 42 lot development or 42 unit complex that we're going to be closing on in the next 4 weeks. Um, we're going to probably do that on our own. although we're working some numbers to consider taking on a couple of investors. The primary place that I take investors right now is in my flip business and my land acquisition business. So we buy the houses that we remodel and put back on the market
Mhm.
and sell retail. And then I also buy simple land subdivide tracts of land that maybe has a lot of road frontage, and we just divide the lots up off the side of the road where we
Mhm.
don't have to put in a road. And we also buy lots that are build ready. I'll oftentimes use private money to take those lots down and or buy that flip house opportunity for us. And then I'll rehab the house with private money from an investor. I'm paying 2 points and 10% right now. Seems to be the going rate for us. And we pay them off at the closing. And then for the lots that we use private money for, I'm getting construction loans from the bank for spec houses. And when we purchase the lot from ourselves, with a construction loan, we pay the private money lender off for the lot sale. Same thing, 2 points and 10%. If I can turn their money over 3 times in a year, right? That's 16% return for them, which
Fantastic.
is fantastic, right? And so they love it. We've performed 100% in accordance with our terms on every deal that we've done. Never been late on a payment, never been default, never didn't. That doesn't mean that we didn't lose money on deals either, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm closing on one this Friday where, the investor will be paid off and it's going to cost me about $40,000 to get rid of the house. But
Oh, wow.
um, my point is that we make sure our investors are taken care of and we're prepared to mitigate those losses when we need to.
Yeah, one of the hardest lessons I learned in doing business with other people is that like if someone invests money with me, I'm gonna pay them off regardless. They don't maybe think that they assume there's a risk, but I always pay them off anyway. Especially if like this other business is doing well, but maybe this concept didn't do well. Well, then I'm still gonna pay them off, right? And but other people don't act that way, and so I didn't know to ask that. I didn't know to ask that question. I just assumed other people would do business that way. And I've had people that I was friends with basically do it that way, kind of like you would if you were, investing with a bank and you didn't have any ties, it wasn't your friend or you didn't know them. And so that's important. That's an important aside, making sure that regardless of what happens with you, that you make right with them. And
For sure.
man, a lot of people they're just creating this massive weight behind them of just like people they're messing over. And that's not going to work out. Safety wise, if nothing else, like that's not going to work out. Somebody's going to pull up on you and they're going to have less to lose than you, and it's going to be a problem. Uh,
Well, they probably ain't sleeping either. So,
yeah. So, how many people do you have in your organization for Kaizen?
well, for the brokerage Kaizen, I don't know the number between that and TGL. It's between 35 and 40 agents
Okay.
between the two brokerages. I would say TGL probably has about 10 to 12 ish, maybe. Maybe it's got 15. And then
There's a
the
few
rest are
that are
over at
gone, but
Kaizen.
you don't know it yet.
Yeah, they're part time, and some of them went inactive, and they didn't make a big spill. Look, I'm not going to be the broker that is a big fanfare, rah rah, hold your hand to production, right?
True.
The idea that we have at the brokerage here is if you want to be around, right, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and you grow into the conversations around you. So if you want to be an investor and you want to create passive income and learn how to do deals creatively, then come hang out with us and we'll hold your license. We're not a big give out awards and make post every month on top producers and how much volume you've produced and all that kind of stuff. There's a brokerage for that. Maybe there's people that value that, but at the end of the day, I want to know if you're living your good life or not. Um, and are you creating intentional
Yeah.
goals, and are the people around you helping you live those goals, right? So there are people that are brokered here who have those aspirations, but they have a full-time job and
Mhm.
they don't commit to the work that brings them around the office that often, right? And for some people, like you said at the top of the call, they thought they wanted to be a realtor, They got their real estate license, and then they realized that, you know what, it's just not for them. And that's okay too. This is a journey, man. And if people can come through my organization and leave better than they join, then I've done my job. I'm happy, and I'm going to cheer them on wherever they go. It don't even matter if it's another brokerage, right? We have an abundant mindset here. We love everybody, want to help everybody, and it don't really matter. We have other agents here that work in our office that are brokered at other offices because they like the energy and they like the vibe of our office and the sales calls and things of that nature. And that's fine too. It don't matter.
What what's this, changing the subject a little bit, but what's like the most difficult situation you've had in business with maybe an investor or an employee? And what's one you look back on and you wish it had gone down differently? Maybe like something that you could
Oh
have done.
man. I fired an agent who was a top producer in our community, and this person is very well known, both good and bad, for good and bad reasons. Toxic, still toxic to this day, in my opinion, based on the words that they use.
Yeah.
And when I fired them, it was Christmas time, and it was the most dramatic exit ceremony ever. Like Chris over at the Rose with the Bachelorette, the most dramatic rose ceremony ever. This was the most dramatic exit situation ever. So I fired her, and we had it was Christmas time. We had a Christmas tree in the lobby of the office, and we had a glass coffee table with this ornate crystal glass Christmas decorations on it. And when she walked out, she picked the Christmas tree up and threw it across the coffee table.
Yeah.
And then she sued me. So it was a 2 year battle of a lawsuit where she sued me for I think it was $350,000, and to this day speaks bad about me, which is fine. It does me no harm, but probably wouldn't have hired her back then, right? Probably wouldn't have given the benefit of the doubt, knowing what I know now, and even what I knew then. But she was a top producer, still is, and it was a pride thing that wanted her to be at my brokerage. So that I could say, "Hey, we recruited the top producer. That may you should want to come too, right?" It
Right.
didn't work that way. And when she left, she brought another agent with her, and that agent was somebody that was my assistant who was working one of my builders, and that assistant took my builder as well. So it was real. That was hurtful. Um, like I said, it was a 2 year lawsuit. I spent a lot of time providing paperwork and contracts and spent a lot of money on the attorney,
Yeah. Yeah.
only to, in the end, she didn't get but $1,500. That's what she settled for. And that was just because we needed to make it go away, right? So she offered a settlement number. I said no. She offered another settlement number. I said no, right? And it got all the way down to 5,000, then 2,500, then $1,500. So I paid her $1,500, and she still talks bad about me, but it's all good.
Yeah, one of the things I've implemented in my process is if I think they're wrong and they think I'm wrong, I do whatever it takes as quickly as I can to make that problem go away. And sometimes that involves giving them money. And yeah, I forget who they are in time, and I move on with my life, and hopefully they forget who I am. So they're not dragging me through the mud every time my name comes up. But that's worked out well. I mean, I probably have more money if I didn't operate that way, but I yeah, everyone's got their point of view, and just because I don't see it that way doesn't mean that there's a bigger war out there, I guess is what I'm saying. And a lot of people get caught up in the battle.
Yeah, it's all good. Look, I still love this person. I'd be friends with her today if she decided that she wanted to be friends. Um,
That's
it's,
insane.
you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
have no harm, no ill will, no hard feelings. It's all good. Everybody has weak moments. It's good.
Well, man, that was fantastic. I appreciate you. Good to have you on. How do people connect with you, or how can people support you from here on out? You have
Yeah, it's been good,
calls
man.
headed,
Good to
but like,
reconnect.
yeah, how do people support your cause from here?
Yeah, so I am leaving after this podcast interview. I'm going to meet with a new marketing firm, and we're going to be relaunching or rebuilding WyattGraves.com. And that's
Mm.
going to be the hub. That's going to be the new brand that I'm just kind of launching, right? It's not the company name. It's going to be WyattGraves.com. And from there, you can see all the different ways and opportunities to get involved with me or any of the businesses that I'm involved with, from real estate sales, brokerage, mortgage, investing, teaching, mentoring. The podcast will be on there. We're relaunching the Mentee podcast. I've kind of been on about a year break to reorganize the next 10 years of where we're going, what the purpose of the podcast will be about, who are the people that we want to teach and coach and mentor. Um, the vibe living concept, all that'll be on whitegraves.com, for people to engage with and connect with me.
When do you think that'll be getting launched?
Well, wyattgraves.com is already launched. You can go there, and it's just very abbreviated version. My goal right now, as we look at the year ahead, is to have all of my ducks in a row sometime in October. So we'll take the rest of September to implement, so that in October-ish, we're able to have it kind of put a bow on it, and
Mm.
then start to release it and launch it towards the end of the year to start 2025 off with a bang.
That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you having you, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for having me, man. Yep. We'll see you.